Welcome to Gymcastic, the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. And today, how Jade Carey outsmarted the world, a gymnastics fairy tale. In this
Jessica's
fairy
already putting a
tale,
narrative on it.
the U.S. finishes second to Russia. And the story starts like this. Once upon a time, this is a quote from June 28th, quote, "We're so fortunate that our athletes are so strong that I don't think it's going to come down to tenths of a point in Tokyo. We didn't feel like it was worth changing the integrity of the process for a couple of tenths." That's a quote from Tom Forrester, everybody. Tom Forrester, leader of the U.S. women's gymnastics team. This is episode 40 for July 25th here in Japan at the Tokyo Olympics. And welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. And I'm here with Kensley, our men's gymnastics expert. Sorry, you guys. I was like, her name, I know Kensley's name.
I know, it's like a miracle. I'm not here for men, so you just couldn't remember who I was.
Oh my God. Okay, let's talk. Today was the craziest day that has ever happened in gymnastics. Have we had a competition like this literally in years?
No,
it's insane.
That was great.
Okay, so here's what happened today. Okay, first of all, let me tell you guys again how the Olympic coverage works. Spencer, can you start with that?
Oh, sure. We're doing Olympic coverage, and we're going to do episodes. And then if you're not a member of Club Gym Nerd, then you can listen to the beginning, and then we'll be like, bye, suckers. And then the rest of it is only for Club Gym Nerd members.
So Club Gym Nerd members get to log in and ask questions live. We podcast here directly from the Tokyos, and they hear embarrassing mistakes that might happen, and also that you guys get to I said ask questions, and extra podcasts every Friday when we're not doing stuff. And also, if you want to be a beta tester, so you can listen to the podcast in the behind the scenes podcast portion on your own favorite podcast player, you can do that in the forums, the VIP section. You can log in and get the RSS feed instructions. So today, you guys, was the craziest competition I can remember. Okay, so first of all, I thought Jade at one point was going to beat Simone. Then I thought Andrade, yes, I did. And then I thought Andrade, because Simone did not have a great meet, Andrade could have beat Simone because of her last routine. She was up on bars, and Andrade's been killing it. And she has gotten a score that would have been high enough to beat Simone before, but she made a little mistake on her pirouette. So she didn't get the score. But it was you guys.
I'm going to say that was not the weirdest part of today. You're kind of burying the lead here because, Russia won.
Russia won the meet, you guys, by not a little bit, not even by tenths, by over
in Tom
a point.
Forster's defense, it did not come down to tenths.
It
because
didn't.
Russia is more than a point ahead of the United States after qualification.
Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so this is the best part about this. So they let Tom Forster speak for some unknown reason again.
That's always a terrible idea.
Right? And so Nancy Armour, I couldn't get, so we have this whole thing, we have to rigmarole, we have to go through to actually get into the mix zone now because of COVID, and they were trying to keep us 6 feet apart. And now that the meet has really started, everyone's just smashed together, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, they only let so many people in. So I couldn't get into the mix zone, but Nancy Armour got in, and she asked Tom, you said after trials that you went by rank order and not the highest scoring team, and didn't put Michaela Skinner on the team because you didn't think that the competition here would come down to a couple of tenths. Well, today it did come down to a couple tenths. Tom, do you regret your decision? And are you ready for what he said?
No, I'm too tired to engage with Tom today.
Spencer, will you please?
Okay.
Will you please read what he said?
Fine.
Nancy's from USA Today, by the way, Nancy Armour.
I wanted to re-emphasize, if anyone out there complained about USAG only thought about medals, that was not the point. So we did not make decisions over a couple of tenths for another medal. We went on rank order because we thought it was a good order, and I still feel good about it.
Wait, he said that they didn't want to think about medals?
Yeah, they're actively trying not to win.
What?
And
Like,
he's-
okay,
Because that means you're kind.
this
In
blows. Oh
Tom
God,
Forster
how did,
world,
like,
not
how did,
caring about medals means you're kind.
like, okay, I am so bumfuzzled how we ended up with like such a like ridiculously and dumb high performance coordinator. Like this, this reminds me of when we went to Worlds and he was like, I didn't know that dance elements were going to be like counted so much. And we were like, you literally have someone who's on the women's technical committee in your country and you're not taking advantage of her, but you're like, oh God, he's just relying on like old morals. I'm so tired and so hyped up on coffee right now, but he just is so, he needs to be fired. I'm over Tom Forster.
This part isn't even the worst part, you guys. That whole medals thing and him being incompetent, that's already well established. The worst part is the part where he says, anyone out there who complained about USA Gymnastics only thought about medals. So do you guys remember like an interview with, let's say, CBS This Morning in 2018, where survivor of the X-Doctor, Olympian, former USAG board member Jessica Howard talked about how the culture of USA Gymnastics that led to the culture of abuse. And she said specifically that when she showed up to her first board meeting, what she discovered that it was only about money and medals. It was only about money and medals. So he is using the message of and the words of a survivor against the press to say, shut up, this is what you wanted. You wanted this. You, the public, said you didn't want us to, anybody that complained, because what Jessica Howard did, sexual assault survivor, that was complaining, you guys, about USAG only caring about medals. It was complaining. It wasn't pointing out systematic abuse and how it becomes normalized. It was complaining, and women should shut up and stop complaining. For that alone, I feel like you should be fired. The rest of it is beyond.
Like, it's just such a long history of incompetence. And like, I think back to our 2017 interview with him and his weird, like licking his lips and like getting in trouble for that. And then in a 2019 interview when he wouldn't answer your questions and then saying like, we're not going to go with the highest scoring team because only a few tenths mattered. Well, now he looks even more stupid because guess what? A few tenths do matter. And we can't rely on Simone because Simone's human. And guess what? Sometimes humans have bad days. And what happens if this happens in team finals? And I just...
And maybe don't use the words of sexual abuse survivors to justify your idiotic decisions.
Right. When are we going to have a team coordinator who like isn't an asshole and also is competent? Like, you don't have to choose either or. I promise you people exist who are both competent and kind people.
Yeah. Those exist. But not in Tom Forster's brain, apparently. Okay, so
I seriously do think he thinks the biggest cultural problem was team selection.
Apparently, that's it.
That was not in the top 50.
The thing
not even close.
No. The thing that he thinks is the most like toxic culture issue is the Twitter people. That's what he thinks is the problem. He thinks it's us calling out people and calling out his problems. He doesn't think it's like him or the team selection. It's us. Like, it's a total blame game.
No, I totally agree with Spencer that it's like he thinks that the 2016 whole scandal is real. I'm not saying that there couldn't have been, but no one has ever found any evidence of this. And that all the, picking by the highest scoring team and putting the puzzle pieces together for 3 up 3 count is the scandal. It wasn't because he doesn't believe it, you guys. He doesn't believe what really went on. That is what I get from this. All of this. Remember the other quote that he said where, well, you wanted athlete centered. And so you got Jade Carey. Like, remember that quote at trials or championships? Okay. So
another thing that from the New York Times, another little gem was This is in the New York Times article, says he said about Tom Forster, he said the Russians edged the Americans because they were, quote, cleaner and had more depth. They had more depth? Valentina's like, I have more depth? What? Since when?
Oh, yeah.
And how did you let that happen? High performance coordinator.
He also gave this very backhanded compliment in the mix zone to Russia. Like he started off with like hats off to them as if to say like enjoy it while you can because we at USA will never make this mistakes again. Like
Well,
I'm
he's
just like,
supposed to be like, confident in his team and
yeah.
proud of them. That's fine.
Okay, so I'm
just
let's
so
go.
glad we have another opportunity to complain about Tom Forster's team selection because
Hi, I'm from the New York Times. When I saw that in our system, I nearly died. Hi, New York Times. Oh dear. I did love the New York Times thing about Suni and her bar routine. That was really cool and really beautifully done. Okay, so let's talk about what happened with Simone first, shall we? The star of the show.
Yeah. So Simone, it wasn't horrible. She didn't fall, but she landed on Mars a couple times. It happens.
I was thinking maybe she was embodying like Goldie the goat and just like decided to leap everywhere. Like
she went out of bounds on floor. And you know what? I'm really glad they changed the speed floor. I don't know if you guys noticed this. It now, instead of having a hard 90-degree angle, it has a slope like an AAI floor, which is much smarter because if you noticed, Simone slid down the back of that instead of breaking an ankle, which obviously that would never happen to her because she would just magically float away. But I thought that was really good. And then she also, on her beam dismount, she almost rolled it over, but somehow saved it and then made a face for all time. She was like, oh. And then on vault, she just had, her vaults were fine. They were really good. She just had big hops.
Yeah.
It just wasn't her best meet.
That's why I'm kind of like,
I don't know.
The fact that Russia qualified a point ahead of the United States, I'm like, yeah, Russia did really well and the US sucked. And there's not like that much more to say about it. Like there are a lot of like trying to dissect the domestic scoring, which I mean, yes, domestic scoring is inflated, but I'm like, the US was really bad today and Russia was really good. And that's like most of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Russia was amazing.
My question is, what do you think that Tom will do for team selection for finals based on what happened today?
That is the fascinating question because it almost requires him to do his job. Like he's forced into, but it's just like someone has to, like what the issue, like the US is a team that always wins. They didn't win today. And normally when a team is in that kind of position, they need like, to turn it around somehow. And, a coach has to push the right buttons to like help the team succeed or something. And it requires action. It requires an active role of someone to come in and make decisions like what events are you putting Jordan Chiles on in team final? That's a real question that requires some level of savvy and observation and knowledge.
He said that Jordan had been hitting all of her routines in practice and had been a good leader. And so he said this was just totally uncharacteristic and weird. I think what's more interesting is what happened with what they're going to do about Grace, because Grace got such lower scores than she does domestically, which I think for many people was not. Didn't she? You don't agree with that? On beam, yeah.
Her stupid beam composition, which is yet again an example of like not a surprise. You're trying to do like Sisson to full turn as your dance combination. They're never going to give that. Like,
Right. And it's the interesting thing about, to me, is because I think Jordan had such an uncharacteristically bad day, it might give license for Tom to make the decision to put Grace on more events, whereas going in, I think we all expected Grace to basically only do vault and team finals, which was like, well, then why wouldn't you just take Skinner on the team, but now maybe she'll be doing one or two other events.
I mean, I would have Grace on floor, because even though she had that large error on her opening pass on floor where she bounced back out of bounds, she still got a very similar score to both Suni and Jordan, but hers was more obvious. Like, she had a higher execution score than them with a more obvious error. Like, you know why her score was a little low. With Suni and Jordan, it's like, oh, if they had done that routine in the US, it would have been like a 13-8 or 13-9, and it wasn't. So we've got to figure out like what the judges at the Olympics are seeing that the domestic judges weren't. Whereas with Grace, like, that's about what that routine would have scored in the US, because she had a large error on her first pass. So I feel like I'm concerned he's not going to use McCallum in the team final on floor, and I really think that they should.
What do you guys think? One thing I feel like we should mention that we found out last night was that the live broadcast, so if you're watching digital broadcast on NBC with John and Sloan, that is being controlled by Chinese TV. Kensley can't even, and neither can Uncle Tim. But if you're watching it on prime time with Nastia, that's controlled by NBC. So that, because if you watch on prime time, like what you guys saw on digital live, there was no Russian men. And apparently in prime time, they did show them, like NBC knew to show the Russian man hello, because, reigning team champions, person champion. Can we talk about person champion? That's what it's called. Can we talk about some of the unfortunate moments and get them out of the way really quick?
I would love to.
Okay.
Live for it.
Larissa, so we have two wonderful Romanian gymnasts here. Larissa Iordaki, of course, is only doing beam, chose only to do beam. She was injured, so she's only doing beam. And then also her mom just died a couple weeks ago at this point, and she's still here competing. And she said she loves gymnastics. So she did a beautiful beam routine. Beautiful beam. Wonderful. She had like one little on her back handspring full bobble. And then she punched for her dismount and punched right on the side corner of the beam with half of her foot and landed like Carrie Strug style, like holding one foot up, then hopped in pain, then saluted, sat down and cried, and it was horrible. She seems to be okay. I don't know if it was just like in the moment it hurt really bad. I don't know if we're going to see her again, but that situation opens up a very, like, I thought she was going to make beam finals. So now
she is. And she said that she's going to compete. I saw that this morning in an article.
Okay. So she's going to compete, which means we have a really interesting situation with beam where Sanne Wevers, the reigning world gold medalist at the Olympics, the reigning Olympic champion, didn't qualify. She's the third alternate for the beam final. Third alternate, you guys.
So, I mean, it's not really relevant to the injuries because she wouldn't get in even if both Iordaki, and I assume we'll talk about Flavia in a second, who also got into the beam final, but is a questionable injury situation because her leg died on floor. It was very, very sad.
Yeah, she had to stop midway in her floor routine. And I was proud of her decision to she was like, cut the music. I can't anymore. Carry me away.
Yeah, because she definitely shouldn't have. She could barely walk off the floor.
Yeah. So we'll see. She looked okay. I mean, she was still limping off, but she looked in good spirits afterwards. So we'll have to see what happens there. One Simone Biles also did not get into the balance beam finals. Am I correct about that?
Simone made all four finals.
Simone made all the finals. She's the first person since Shannon Miller, I think, for the US to make all finals.
Simone Biles did make all the finals, you guys, just in case your feed didn't update to show you the last time you looked.
Good excuse.
Thank you. Okay, so the other injury that happened that we have to talk about is the best story of the night also, which is the story of one Danusha Francis.
That's the best story of the night? Yes. Danusha's two toe-ons? Bars routine?
Danusha Francis, who waited 3 Olympic cycles to finally be an Olympian. And then apparently, I don't know if she found out, there's one report that said her ACL tore yesterday. And another one said but she was saying it was already hurt when she came here. So I'm not sure if she further injured it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wondered if she had some kind of injury and then was like trying to push through to the Olympics, and her ACL was like, "Yeah, we're done."
Yeah, she did have an injury coming here, and that's why
Yeah.
she didn't really do anything when she started off. We lost Kensley for a minute, but hopefully we'll get her back. But yeah, she went to a bar. She did 2 beautiful toe-on handstands, and then she glided off the bar and saluted, and her rotation went wild. And then she got a 3 and a 9 execution score, which we think is the highest execution score ever given since the 10 went away on bars, isn't it?
Not in the 2000. I bet they're not in the 2008 quad. They were given 9s out like candy in like 2007 and 2008.
In my heart, she had
Yeah,
the
you
highest.
just invented a stat. You've invented a record because you wanted it to be a true without any research. But I have so many questions about this execution score. I know
but
it's not the
Kathy
story.
Rupp makes a good point here. Did Danusha have the only non-vault E-score higher than 9?
Yes, by a lot.
There you go. It's a wonderful stat.
I have some questions about this because I don't know how you get to a 9.0 E-score for this routine. Do you?
What?
So, did she had a? You're saying she had a full point of deductions in 2 toe-ons?
Yeah.
Or why are you not counting a fall?
It wasn't a fall.
She hopped off the bar.
No,
after those
didn't.
2 toe-ons.
No, she didn't fall.
She didn't dismount.
But she didn't do a dismount and she didn't fall.
But so isn't just intentionally hopping off the bar
Spencer,
a fall?
Can't we have nice things just one time?
This is nice. This is fun. This is fun for me.
Judges that are listening, how would you have gotten to that 9? Figure a way that's possible
for this routine.
For glide, cast, toe-on handstand, glide back, stand still. Someone come up with a reason so that yeah.
I have questions. I would like to know.
Okay. We had a couple of inquiries, only one of which was actually changed. Liu Yufei didn't get her beam score changed, but she did get her floor score changed.
Very significant because she was originally behind Zhang Jin in the all-around standings for the second China spot in the all-around final. And then her inquiry changed her floor score and put her just ahead of Zhang Jin. And I think ultimately appropriately. I thought she had a stronger day overall.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought her floor routine was better than the score reflected anyway. So
the other crazy thing is that the British team got a 0.3 neutral deduction. And Uncle Tim was on it, and so was Mez from Australia, Marianne Moncton. They were like, they sat on the podium while the meet was still going on, and you can't do this. And Mez was like, this is a totally inexperienced team. If you're experienced, you know never to sit on the podium. There's been deductions before for that. But what it turned out to be, they could have added that on if they wanted. But it was Gadarova. Was it which? You guys, I can't tell their vaults apart.
Jessica did 2 vaults. Jennifer did 1 vault.
So Jennifer balked twice.
In the warm-up, Jennifer balked twice, but then went over on her 3rd attempt. The problem with that was if you are attempting to do 2 vaults, if you're trying to make the vault final and doing 2 vaults, you do get 3 warm-up vaults. But if you're not, and you're only doing 1 vault, you only get 2 warm-up vaults. So this counted as 3 warm-up vaults, so she exceeded the allowed number of warm-up vaults, and they got a 0.3 deduction. It's so dumb, you guys.
So
it's
if
almost
she had
as dumb as a deduction for remaining on the podium, sitting on the podium on another side of the arena while someone else is competing, and having that be a deduction. It's almost like all of this is stupid.
If she had just done a handspring, added it, then they wouldn't have gotten that 0.3 deduction, and that vault score wouldn't have counted, so it wouldn't have mattered. That's basically what they should have done had they realized that she went over.
She was not entered to do 2 vaults. Don't you have to say prior that you're doing 2 vaults?
Yeah, because they have the little star indicated
The
on
star, Jessica. Yeah.
the.
You can't
But
just make things up. There is a star.
well, there were too many stars on the women's U.S. leotards, but that's a whole other issue.
Oh,
But
yeah. Whoa. Mm-hmm.
we can talk about that in a little bit. But my favorite Twitter thing was before people understood what this deduction was actually for, was that people kept saying it's a 0.3 deduction for Great Britain selecting the wrong team, and like,
I
it was-
mean,
I was hoping it was some sort of punishment for the whole alternates registration as trainers thing. I was like, did they give them a 0.3 neutral deduction for that? There are so many things it could be when you're talking about British gymnastics. You could come up with so many problems that are worthy of 3/10.
We still don't know what's happening, how they're being punished for registering their alternates as coaches and then letting them actually work out. We have heard varying things, like with Chuso being ousted from being the flag bearer, because I guess they ousted both of the flag bearers. So whoever that tall guy was not the original man either. And they said it was because they wanted them both to rest more. But then but I mean, obviously that's a bunch of hooey. So speaking of Chuso, you guys, should we talk about Chuso?
Feel free.
Chuso, you guys, Chuso, she did her first vault, wasn't great. Did her second vault.
Fine.
It was
Both
fine.
vaults were fine.
Right. They were just, it just wasn't going to happen. So she, as I click on the apparatus results just to make sure that I'm not like Chuso didn't just happen to like slide in there. No, she's 14.
No.
So anyway, I kind of felt like she knew this was it. And unlike
Well, I mean,
Kohei-
she was already out of the final when her scores came in.
Yeah.
So, the scores came up and she was like, yes, I did not make the final wave.
Right. I mean, there was other subdivisions. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, yeah, she didn't make it, but you never know what's going to happen. I am always like, oh, you're the third alternate, you're the fourth alternate, you're the fifth alternate.
But like when she went, even though there were still more gymnasts to go, she already wasn't, in the top 8.
Yeah, she already was not in the top 8. So it's very unusual. But I was like, COVID, you never know what's going to happen, Chuso.
You wanted Kohei to have exactly this, and now Chuso gets it, and you're complaining about it.
I am not complaining.
Sounds like you're complaining about it.
Setting the scene,
Ugh.
Spencer. The scene. So she starts to cry. First of all, which Chuso, have you ever seen Chuso cry? No. No one's ever seen her cry. She didn't even cry when her son was born. I don't know. She probably did. But she gets like totally emotional. She's hugging her coaches, and then she starts saying goodbye and thank you and spasiba to the camera. And then the whole everybody there starts to clap. And then people started to stand up. And then when I saw other media standing up, I was like, oh, good. Yes, we get to clap and stand up. Yay. Because honestly, we all only have jobs because of people like Chusavitna. So if you can't stand up and honor her, then what are you even doing here? That's what I have to say about it. So she had the moment that I wish Kohei had, and it was beautiful. And she got the standing ovation. And then she got up on the podium and she got more standing ovation and she was crying. Oh, you guys, it was so beautiful. I mean, I feel like really, really, really she's retiring this time because she's never cried before. And it wasn't the ovationing, it was the crying that made me feel like. And then she was taking a picture, like the kids in the rotation were taking pictures. She got in, and then all the other kids from the other rotation, I'm calling them kids, they're grown-ass women, but they're kids compared to Chuso. All started running over so they could get the picture with her too, because it's Chuso and she's inspired a generation. You know what, Allison, I don't know if the judges stood, but they should have, and I totally endorse judges standing for her if they did.
I don't, but anyway.
It was also great to see, like, she's been around for so long, and obviously the ex-Soviet coaches are everywhere. Like, that's how we have great gymnastics in the world. And so coaches from all different countries were coming over to give her hugs too. Oh, you guys, it was so beautiful. Okay. Is now the part where we get to Melnikova did a Chang, I told you so, and you didn't believe me?
Wait, first of all, I thought you were gonna like cut off the non-paying members.
Damn, Spencer! Can we at least talk about Spencer's like get out of
Okay.
here so we can have a
No-
no? Listen, can we at least run down?
We can
the
sure
teams?
talk about Melnikova because we all saw her do a chung in podium training, and then we talked about it.
Yeah, but you didn't believe me, which is the important part.
No,
Okay.
I saw it happen.
Okay,
So
before
I did believe you. I
What
asked you if
didn't you believe
Andrade
me?
did a chung, and you said no.
Did I say
That's
that?
what happened.
I can't remember.
That's what happened about the chung.
I don't
And
think
Cordelia
so.
kept trying to be like, no, she did do it. She did do one. Jessica, she did.
Cordelia's always right, by the way, just so you guys know. But anyway, so the team as they are right now, Russia beating the United States by more than a point, US, China's in third, France, Belgium, Great Britain, Italy, Japan in eighth, Germany out. Because basically everybody fell on beam. Kim Bui was the savior of the entire
I know, when
German
Kim
team
Bui
that
gets your
game.
second best beam score. Sights didn't fall,
Canada-
but she did not have an acro series.
Yeah, she balked. She stopped.
Yeah, she just did a back handspring.
I mean,
Can't-
Mustafina didn't have an acro series in 2013, and they still counted. She got world champion. So I mean, I think
That's true, but she did something
She
with a
pretend-
bendy in it.
She pretended. It's all about pretend. If we've learned anything about gymnastics, you don't have to be good. You just have to pretend like you think you're good.
So Canada is out, Netherlands in 11th, and Spain in 12th. So yeah, all right. And all around, as I mentioned before, Biles in first, Andrade, Sunisas in third, Melnikova, Urazova, Listy, out.
Two per
Out,
country.
you guys. 2 per country.
I have two beam medal prediction, 2 bronze medal predictions. Both are already out, which was Listunova for the all around and Steingruber on vault.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, unfair, incorrect. Steingruber should have been in the vault final.
We'll get to more of that soon. And I also want to tell you guys all about what was happening with the beam judges, because there were problems with the beam judges. And I put out a tweet. I mean, I'm not going to take full credit to this, but I put out a tweet making a request. So if you'd like to hear what happened after I put that tweet out in the arena, if you're a Club Gym Nerd member, just keep listening. But if you're not yet a Club Gym Nerd member, who are the people that helped us pay our way so I can be here in Tokyo live, taking all the COVID tests and giving you all the information, please join at gymcasting.com at Join the Club tab. And if you're already a Club Gym Nerd member, let me tell you what happened. So these freaking judges, you guys, there were multiple 10-minute plus waits for scores on beam. Multiple. And I don't know, like, seriously, at some point it looked like the judges were just sitting there. So I don't know if it was, I mean, I've asked FIG about this. So I'm trying to find out, like, what exactly was it? Was it the judges? Was it the system that wasn't working? Was it the scoring system? That's the thing. We don't know yet. And so that's like, I don't want to totally blame the judges when I could clearly see that they were just sitting there like, I can't believe this is happening.
But it's also
So-
the judges at a meet like this have different responsibilities. So if it was like the E-score judges are like, I already did my E-score, and the problem is with the D-score, then the E-score judges are going to be like, I mean, what, sitting there twiddling their thumbs. Which
And
is
I am to the side of, like, they're sort of to the side of me. So if they were on the other, and they have those barriers between them,
Mhm.
even before COVID, they were way ahead of their time with those plastic barriers. They can't see each other's scores. So it could be that I just couldn't see the D's. I was only looking at the E's.
That's your
the
biggest
thing.
problem. You just can't see the D's. Yeah, I mean, my guess, knowing nothing about what was actually happening, was that it was a D-score problem because all of the routines that they had long delays on were D-score complicated beam routines with large with a lot of questionable, maybe mixed combinations that you would have potentially judges disagreeing about whether they were combinations or not.
Yeah. So well, some of the things like Sana had to wait for like 7 minutes, I think, before she did her beam routine. So many people had long waits. So eventually, like, it was getting so ridiculous that I was like, if I was a member of the audience, obviously, like I did in 2011, I don't know if I've mentioned this at the World Championships where I started the slow clap, I would start a slow clap if there was a delay. But of course, I'm a professional, so I couldn't do that. So instead, I tweeted about it. And when it didn't happen, then I tweeted at the US men's team and requested that they do it because they were in the arena. And what happened a minute or two later? The men started a slow clap.
Yoder was like, I got you.
It didn't just happen once, it happened twice because the first time it didn't do anything. So then they did it again. And at the end, I think it was Sam who yelled, let's go, like very, bro in college. And I was like, I'm so proud of these heroes right now. So, I mean, I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but possibly I may have inspired the slow clap. And so, you guys, the slow clap is very important. That's what I have to say. Always use it when you can. So we got 2 fan things that happened today, or we got one yesterday and we got 2 things today. So very pleased about it. I can't remember the gas purge around the world that happened yesterday when Kohei fell. That's what it was. No, we're not talking about that. So anyway, all right, let's discuss. Where are we?
Let's talk about Russia.
Yeah, Russia.
They hit beam. That was a big deal. We've been talking a lot about like average scores this year, the US being 4 points ahead of Russia. I think like the difference here was like half of it was the US just like, I mean, most of it was like Simone going out of bounds, the US having problems, and then half of it was Russia overperforming because, most of Russia's beam scores this year were based on falls. Like the heavy majority of them were falls, and they hit beam, and it was a big deal.
They hit beam, and not only did they hit beam, they have Yurazova is made the finals, and they had 3 through 6 places 3 through 6 on bars. Obviously 3 through 6 can't make finals, but they just killed it on bars with their compulsory routine, which totally works for them.
Just Melnikova and Orazova have similar routines.
Doesn't
Almost.
Gerasimova?
They have the same. Oh, Gerasimova might. I wasn't counting her because I didn't watch her routines because she had such a bad day. But
She did have a bad day.
Ilyankova certainly does not have the same routine. Hers is the most exciting one, and I'm very pleased to see her make the final. I did not necessarily think that was going to happen based on execution because I thought she had a lot more execution errors, but, I'm glad she made the final because she has the best composition.
14.966 with an 8.566 D. E,
fine.
right? E. That's what. Even when I'm looking at the things, I can't get them right. Okay.
I did not expect Listinova to be the one who was super countryed. Like when we went to beam, I was like, oh, like Orazova's gonna be out. Like it's
when we were going to beam, I was like, Melnikova's gonna fall. I was sure she was gonna fall.
No, because in 2019 she was so confident.
Yeah, have you been live in 2021? She hasn't hit a beam routine all year.
Yeah, I don't know.
A long time ago, but she did it when it counted.
That was
by far her best beam routine since 2019 Worlds.
Yeah, when she mounted, it was like there was no questionable, like she was like, I am here to do beam, I'm gonna do my job. And she said later in an interview that she knew how close it was going in to the final rotation and that she had to hit. So I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you to Luba again, Jim Novosti, for all the translations. Yeah, so Listunova placed 6th, so she got 2 per country out. But you know who didn't is my Melanie de Jesus dos Santos, who looked way better.
Which final are you talking about?
All around.
Oh, all around. Yeah, I thought you were talking about a specific event final. And I was like, yeah, Melanie got per country out of that. No.
Yes. Melanie looked way more like herself today, than she did in podium. Way more like herself, her old self.
She was another one I thought her scores could have been higher compared to some other people on beam and floor.
Yeah, floor especially.
I was like, that could have been higher because they were not shy about giving out like 13 4s and 13 5s on floor. And then Melanie, they were like, you get a 13, whatever was it, 13-2 or something. I was like,
So US placed second, and the biggest surprise for me was Jordan, like not hitting like bars didn't go well, then floor, then falling twice on beam on her series and her dismount.
Well, she started on floor, and floor was okay, but she didn't get a great score. She had her one combination passes, which is usually the part that gives her trouble. It was a little dumpy. But it was not a bad routine. I am interested in why they came up with a 7-6 E score. I mean, you can find the things, like you can justify it. I'm not saying you can't, but yeah. I think the US needs to figure that one out. But yeah, bars was strange to see because it's been so automatic for her on bars this year in particular. Like with beam, I wasn't that surprised to see her fall in that series because she has been tentative with that series. And like the big difference for Jordan this year is that she's been able to hang on to it. Like all like previous years when she's short on that, layout step out series or something, she would fall. This year, she's like short on it every single time, but she's like calm and hangs on. But then this time it was just like, it was too much and it was unsalvageable. But bars was really surprising to me because it was just like, it looked identical every time we've seen it all year.
Are they able to get the receipts from the judges to understand what was deducted? Like, are they going to be able to make that call?
What a cute notion, Kensley.
You can do it at regular meets.
I genuinely don't know the answer.
I mean, you can do it at domestic meets. I don't know why you can't do it at. I mean, why wouldn't you be able to get the receipts? It's supposed to be a secret.
Have you met the FIG?
There is a Fig Brevet judge like listening to the stream right now. So can you please answer? Can you answer?
Can the coaches just go up and be like, what? So floor finals.
The FIG will be like, the identity must be a secret. The identity of the judges must be a secret. All the scores are a secret.
Simone and Jade made floor finals. I kind of thought Skinner had like the floor of her life. Skinner had the floor of her life.
I mean, she did do a good job.
She did, but it was not
her. But it was not gonna, score.
Yeah, as well as Jade. I mean, Jade was amazing. Like Jade is a genius. She and her dad are geniuses, and they have outsmarted the whole system. And if Jade wouldn't even be here if she had to depend on the stupid US system, and she is here and in finals. So suck it. And Skinner she should be on the team because she would have made the highest scoring team, but she got to be here and compete. And her Olympics is probably over after today. Unless something happens, she gets an American gets hurt and she's an alternate for one.
I did wonder if they would like Gallieva her into the team final.
I mean, if you're going to put someone into the team final at this point, you choose Jade. Because, it doesn't matter about, protecting or giving up the spot at this point.
But Tom clearly, there's clearly something going on there between Tom and Jade because, did you see the shade when Tom tried to talk to her?
I think that was, kind of ridiculous that everyone's reading so much into that. Jade never has a
Jade's face. I was like, that's how Jade always looks.
Speaking of which, I do want to say, I disagree with almost everything, when Tom breathes, but I do want to acknowledge that, he does his daily Facebook updates, and he pointed out that he mentioned what Missy Marlowe had said about how sexist it is that when women make facial expressions or don't make facial expressions, they are judged for it. Whereas if a man did the same thing in a sport, people wouldn't see it the same way and are just like, oh, they're just being sports people. Whereas women are expected to behave a certain way and have different faces. And I thought that was, even though I think he wasn't getting the message about what people were upset about, I appreciated that he acknowledged that. And I think he even used the word sexist in a Facebook post. So I just a small smidge of shout out for that. Because we can all agree with that.
The brevet judge just messaged me and said you cannot inquire e-scores. Some judges don't even notate why they took deductions or what they took deductions on. And what they may say afterwards wouldn't necessarily be accurate. So.
Welcome
So I
to also NCAA women's judging, when the coaches try to find out what happened afterward, and they're like, "What you said doesn't even add up to the right numbers."
Yeah. And can we just speak about an inequality thing going on right now? Because
Would love to.
for the women, they had the individual feed for all the events, and for the
Mhm.
men, they did not. And we had to watch that crappy feed where they like thought Kartsev was Nagorny the whole time. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I don't appreciate that.
So yeah, NBC had event specific stream, or like, the 4 event stream for the women. They had advertised the same for the men, and they still had pages up for that stream that said, watch all 6 events of men's subdivision 1 qualification at the Olympics, but it just didn't have any video on it anymore, and they took it down, and we don't know why, but it's probably because no one cares about men's gymnastics.
Is now a good time for an interlude to talk about an Olympic behind the scenes thing?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it the Olympics?
You guys, it's the Olympics. So this is my folder that I have to carry around with me at all times, which is a file folder with labels, you guys, because I have a label maker and I'm very organized. Spencer and Kensley can tell you how organized I am. So anyway, this has all of my like COVID documents, my activity plan, my QR code to get into the country, my pledge to follow the rules, my COVID certificates that I had to send to a Japanese doctor. It has my taxi vouchers. It has my accreditation. It has my passport. It has my these are my little QR codes for my COVID tests. And now it also contains 4 tickets to gymnastics at the Olympic Games. Why do you have tickets when you are accredited media, you may ask? Well, let me explain. I don't really know if this is a new thing, if this is a COVID thing, or they always do this, but I guess this is, there's so many, when it's like a high demand sport, they give, even though you're already accredited, like I'm accredited only for gymnastics. That's all I can go to. I had to also email the USOPC and say, hey, I need to get into gymnastics because that's the only reason I'm here. And then I had to physically go to the NPC. So me and Lauren had to leave in our tiny lunch break of like an hour and a half today, go to the NPC, which is the main press center, go up to the the Team USA has like there's like all these cubicle offices set up for, like, the Washington Post has a little cubicle and then they decorate it how they want inside. So it's not new for high demand events, says Scott Bregman. See, Scott's been to a lot more Olympics than me, you guys, so he knows about this stuff. But they have these little offices set up and they're all decorated differently, and they have like some have like couches in them or desks set up or like big screens they can watch the games. We tried to hang around the Russian delegation office so that we could see what it looked like inside. But they had like tape over the door, like a crime scene.
It's very private.
And no one ever came in and out. So anyway, we had to go in there and see Bill and at his desk, and Bill gives out the tickets, and Bill's a lovely guy, and he, chatted with us while he doled out the tickets, and we were like, oh my God, the Americans start soon. We have to get all the way back to the gym. And we got our tickets, and so I am now in possession of these tickets, and I think it's kind of cool. They're not very exciting, except they have like
what is the purpose of this?
For high demand events, it guarantees you a spot to sit at a desk with like a plug, so you can actually get room. I guess for high demand events, they don't want the entire place, I don't know, filled with media, or I don't know. Jim Novosti says, at Europeans, we're supposed to register for the competition. I also came only for gymnastics, but I think in the end, no one really checked if we did. Yeah, they checked us this morning. Like the last 2 days, we had to also like register to get in, and they had to double check that you're approved to get in. Then we had to show our credential to get in, and now we're gonna have to do approval and Bodie Bobs, and yeah. Scott Bregman says this Bill's been doing media tickets at the Olympics for literally decades. He's very calm and very nice, and he answers all of his emails, which is more than I can say for the entire Olympic system in Japan, who have answered an email only once in many, many months. So that's a little Olympic backstory. And now we have to go again 4 days from now and get more tickets. And it's kind of a pain, but apparently this is part of the wonderfulness of being in Olympic Games, which I don't know if I have described yet to you guys as a giant administrative pain in the ass, but that's pretty much what it's like. Also, the mix zone is just nothing like other mix zones I've been in. Like, normally they ask, like, who do you want to talk to? And can we get, and they try to like facilitate it. Here it's just like free for all. If you guys could get out as fast as possible, that would be great. Like literally they were shoving us out of there and turning the lights on the other night. I was like, well, what if the athletes want to talk longer? Well, like, what if they want to say more? And they were like, psh, psh. So they didn't actually physically hit us. I was just making a noise. Can we go back to talking about gymnastics now? Enough of your behind the scenes Olympic stories, you guys. China.
Yeah, China did not do. China had it was medium, right? I would say China's performance was medium.
Yeah.
It is kind of I felt like the whole point of the team as it was selected was to reinforce things on vault and floor, and you've got allegedly Oyu Shan's floor and maybe Yurchenko double full, and you were supposed to have Lu Yufei doing a Souk double full because she did it at the last trial, and that did not really materialize, with China putting up only 3 on floor and only 2 higher difficulty vaults, one of which was for Tang Shijing, who hadn't done that Yurchenko double full in competition since the world's all-around final in 2019, and she pulled it out now because Tang only shows up for like the big events. Like Tang Shijing is not going to the People's Choice Awards. Like if she gets nominated for an Oscar, yeah, she's gonna show.
Then she'll show
But
up.
like she's not going to do a double full for the People's Choice Awards. I think that's what we've learned about Tang Shijing, because once again, she hasn't looked like the best Chinese gymnast this year, and then she shows up in qualification, has her Yurchenko double full, top Chinese qualifier to the all-around final. She's going to show when it matters, and that's what we've learned about Tang Shijing.
The most exciting thing for me, of course, was that Guan Chen disco roll on beam
Yes.
qualified in the
She hit
first place with her disco roll with her 6-9D score.
And we only had to wait 38 minutes for her score to come up.
My God, you guys. Seriously.
And by the way, Guan Chen and Oyu Shan got the same execution score on beam, or both 8.0, almost exactly the same. And Oyu Shan had like 785 wobbles on her routine.
Yeah. She did.
All the beam execution scoring was abysmal. Everyone got like within a couple tenths of each other. It was like, oh, you're either a 7-8 or you're an 8-1. Those are the choices.
Maybe that's why that whole group of judges was just sitting there doing nothing, because they were just like,
because they gave the same execution score to every single routine, regardless of quality.
I'm sure one of them is listening now, so we're going to hear about it.
Well, they need to know that they did a bad job.
Please tell us, you guys, what was happening over there. Okay, so France came in 4th.
Yeah, impressive, because I did not think France was going to be back to 4th, which is where they qualified at 2019 Worlds. I was like, this team doesn't have Sharpie. They're not going to be as good, but there was not a lot of great today in qualification among the contending teams, and France just went through. Okay, it was not a problem. Boyer did not have her best beam, but she stayed on the beam, and like this year she's been getting mostly 11s, and she got a 13. And even with Melanie, like she could have gotten higher scores, and France as a team had a good result. So
then Japan, that's not right.
No, Japan was in 8th.
Belgium's
in 5th.
Belgium.
Of course. That's like the perfect capping to the day. Belgium coming in the 5th subdivision. Just be like, we're in 5th place, yo.
We were really wondering.
Love Belgium. Like, if anyone wants to learn anything about how to do routines that are going to get preposterous execution scores, like the FIG loves the crap out of Belgium, everything Belgium does, especially Nina.
Speaking of Nina.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about our bars qualifiers for a second to the bars final, because Nina got
15-3, 6-6.
And watching her routine, so she's first, and she got an
Yes.
8.666 execution.
Yeah.
And Suni got a 15.2 with an 8.6 execution. I thought that Suni had better execution. There were several things wrong in Nina's execution. Flexed feet, some legs apart. Like her routine looked, I don't never consider her bars sloppy at all, but they
I
looked a
would
little.
consider this one sloppy. But yeah, no, they love Nina. She's going to get the highest execution score on every event just for showing up. That is what we've learned. But I thought she did really well.
Yeah, she did great. She did amazing. Her bars is amazing. But I was like, what? What's with this execution score? I don't agree with this. With the flexed feet. Yeah,
I think
I
that's
have
fair.
a problem with it. So, yeah, but I'm very excited about that. We also have, of course, who else made it in? Liu Yufei. Sights made it in.
Thankfully, Fanny Lin made it in because I was kind of worried after she went because I was like, I don't know if that score is going to hold up.
Fanny Lin's routine is freaking crazy. I mean, we know it's crazy, but seeing it in person, it's even crazier to see that routine in person. And that her dismount, it does like she's the only one that doesn't look like she's gonna die when she does it.
Almost like it should be named after her or something.
Yeah. And then freaking did Simone make it into the bar final?
Yes.
Because of 2 per country. That's why. That's why I thought
As
she
we
wasn't in.
established, Simone made all 4 finals.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure out why I thought she didn't make it.
Even though she had a lot of errors in that bars routine.
Okay. Where
I
else?
feel like Simone might have been secretly rooting for not to have to be in the bars final. I'm just gonna say, I think if Simone had been knocked out of the bars final, she would have been like, "Oh, that's too bad. I guess I can't do another bars routine at the Olympics. Darn it."
Oh my god. Okay. Scott, if you're still on here, that quote that I cannot find that was put up on OBS that apparently Simone, so we were told halfway through the meet that the US was not going to do media, and we were like, "Excuse us?" And then Carol, their, communications person, was like, I am not making this up. Here's the process. I will show you the text messages. Like, I asked this person, they asked the team decides, then it goes back to me. It's not our decision. Like, if they want to talk, they can talk. So the team decided they weren't going to talk, but Tom was going to talk. Always a mistake. But then we get this quote came out from Simone. And you guys, she is okay. First of all, there's no way in hell Simone said this thing that she said. And the second thing is that it just wasn't her, like, the way she talks. And the second thing is that she said, I mean, we just are aiming for top 3. So
if Simone said that, she was lying.
That's a cold-faced lie.
She was cackling to herself, like, I guess I'm just aiming for top 3.
No one hates losing more than Simone, except maybe Horkina. That's the level of winning.
I mean, that's a contest. There are a lot of people in this competition who hate losing. That's why they become really good, i.e. Skinner.
Like, also Simone loves to break all of those records. Remember in 2019 when she broke the world championship gold medal with the winning the beam gold? Like, did you see her reaction? Like, that is something she aspires to, for her to be like, nah, I'm just gonna leave the gold medal record. Like,
so the thing is, there was a hack 3 days ago, and our the MyInfo system went down, which is basically where we get all the quotes. And so, like, the people that are always in the mix zone who do an amazing job, who get quotes and like put them up for all the rest of the media to get, in case like some people you couldn't get into the mix zone, or you can't hear anything, or there is this lady who you guys, I don't know who this is, but she's just some rights holder, but I'm sure she's not the one paying the bills. So, the people that pay more money, they pay to get like ahead of, so it goes like TV rights holders and then like paper and then the rest of us, right? So like Carlos Yulo is giving this interview in English, and like I always feel like it's better for the athletes if they don't have to repeat everything. Like I might have extra questions, but why, make them talk even more if they don't want to. They want to eat and go to bed and not have to talk to anybody. So I was like, just standing as close as I could without getting into the I paid to be here section, which is literally just a rope, and standing there listening to what Carlos is saying. And this woman looks at me, walks the other way, looks at me again, and then just stood right in front of me, so that I couldn't physically see Carlos. So she is an inch away from, her back is now an inch away from my face. And I was just like, what, do you really think we're in competition? He doesn't even know your name, lady. I have been at all these meets. And so I just stepped to the side and gave her a dirty look and continued to listen. And then also Carlos came over and asked him a couple more questions just to clarify things. But I was just like, what kind of a dick makes the athletes want to say things 15 more times? So anyway, I don't like that lady. And I can't remember the point of my story.
I'm so glad you now have a media arch nemesis too. I think we all have media arch nemesis.
Yes.
That's very important.
Oh, speaking of not arch nemesis, but the very nice Germans were behind us. And People Magazine has the quote from Simone. People Magazine. Someone definitely. So my theory, you guys, is that someone hacked into the system and put up this fake quote for Simone, or that Simone is totally trolling everyone, because obviously Simone would never, ever, ever say that, and it's hilarious. Or the team
they
voted.
Were texting with Simone's manager, agent, or something, and we're like, "Can we get a quote from Simone about da 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 da?" And then the manager texted back, "We just want us to blah, 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 blah."
Yes. Okay, but speaking of which, the Germans were behind us in our media section. So lovely, hilarious, almost as loud as we are. And so we started talking about the unitards.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they wear their unitards again for this competition. You guys, the unitard revolution has finally competed in the Olympic Games, and it was wonderful. I just want to mention that they didn't have their best meet, but it was still a beautiful moment that was important for the history of gymnastics.
But Seitz and Kim Bui both made the all-around final.
Yes.
Which is very exciting for Kim Bui to make an Olympic all-around final and go to the Olympics and hit a beam routine. That's very good. So we talked about a little bit about Belgium, talked about the British. The British did make the team final, so mission accomplished there. It was very important not to select Becky Downey so that they could contend as a team. And
so 7th place, way to go, you guys. You're definitely going to win a medal. I'm not talking about the gymnasts. I'm not talking to the gymnasts. The gymnasts did their best. I'm talking about British gymnastics, not the athletes who are doing their best. Let me reiterate that again for the 150th time. We're not talking about the humans. We're talking about the decisions that the organizations made. The gymnasts.
I mean, they only ended up having one gymnast make an event final. And
Jessica Gadarova made the floor final, and Jennifer is first alternate.
Right. And
the Gadarovas had a
fantastic meet. Right.
All around. I'm very excited for them.
Kinsella had a terrible day. I think it was especially devastating on beam, where she has been European champion, and you could see how visibly upset she was following the fall. And it was the strangest fall, because she did a side aerial, layout, step out. And it looked right on. And then she just hopped off.
Yeah, I think she must have been, because we have the side view, a good view of beam. I think she must have been off on the other side, and we couldn't really tell how off she was.
Okay.
Because it looked like she was perfectly on, and then it was just like, bye.
Yeah, it didn't look like a struggle or anything. And then, truthfully, they left a likely medal at home by leaving Becky Downey at home. So, now where they could have really had 3 to 4 event finalists, now they only have 1.
And then, so they're in 6th, and then we have Italy in 7th, and Italy looks so good, you guys. I was very impressed with Italy. Their bars.
Impressed that Italy beat Japan in that subdivision. They really did what they could do for being a very injured and depleted team.
Yep. And Maggiano did her floor routine. She only did a layout for one of her passes, but she did her whole floor routine.
Yeah, that was very strange. That was because she had injured herself, or something didn't feel right in podium training. I mean, not injured enough to not do the meet, but I'm wondering if that was intentional or if she was just in the moment, like, no.
Because it was the same pass that she
Yeah.
hurt herself on in podium training. So yeah, it was interesting, but she did it. So yeah, and Ferrari qualifying in first on floor.
Yeah.
Yes, grown ass women in the finals.
She's placed fourth at the past 2 Olympics, right? On floor
Mhm.
finals. Oh, I need her to win a medal.
She killed it, man. She freaking killed it. Yeah, she did awesome. Okay,
That's
so
gonna
then
be really close. I mean, I'm assuming Simone is gonna, like, not land in a different country in the floor final and will win comfortably. But yeah, it's gonna be really close for the other medals. Did anyone else think that, like, even though Simone had terrible landings, her E-scores were still kind of surprisingly low? Just me?
I didn't really look at her E-scores that much. I was just like, oh crap.
I mean, I know she's getting like multiple 3/10 lunge deductions on these landings and 3/10 for out of bounds. So, it's the score is not going to be high, but I was also like,
So speaking of floor stuff, Japan, the last team in, and Mai Murakami made floor finals. She is the last one in. She got in.
That was a nail biter because she only got a 13-9 in the first subdivision. And I was like, uh-oh.
Do you think she'll upgrade anything? I think this is it. I don't think there's anything she's going to do more.
Not more tumbling. She could be like, I'm going to see if I can get this turn, another turn.
Yeah, but not tumbling wise.
Yeah. I also thought like her execution score could have been higher on floor. Floor was funky too. It's not just about beam. I thought it was inconsistent.
Brooklyn Moores is the 15th place, third reserve for floor with a 13.533. And I reject that, and it didn't happen. She's in the floor finals. I get to watch her every day of my life, and that's
okay. She made the all-around final as the top qualifying Canadian. So you do get to see her compete again.
Yeah.
Because Ellie Black had mistakes, Jessica.
I know. It was very weird.
What was that about? And poor Ava Stewart.
Oh, Ava. Can I just say the great thing about Ava, though? She was just like, bloop, I fell off, but I'm at the Olympics. I'm going to enjoy myself. Like, she was just like, I feel like that's the right attitude. Just go on, keep going. Don't beat yourself up about it. There'll be another Olympics, maybe. Or just
unfortunately, she can't get the double front pike bars dismount named after her because she fell on it. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have another competition opportunity because Canada didn't advance to the team final.
Yeah. Speaking of some people falling, Vidot from Cuba, victim of the stupid beam and the stupid handspring, that stupid board. Didn't she fall on board? Oh, board, I meant. Did I say beam?
You did say beam.
She did. She did a great first vault, and then her second one, she did a Rudy and landed like sideways,
on her hip,
crunched on her hip, and I was like,
that was a hip first landing.
Yeah, that was not good.
It's always touch and go with Vidot.
Yeah,
like that might be the springboard or this vault, but like it's always like a roll of the dice with her and those difficult vaults.
Yep. Anything else what questions do you guys have for us before anything else that we haven't gotten to?
There was the one thing to mention is I think floor final is the only final where no one got two per country.
There was a lot of two per countrying.
So just one thing to note.
You guys, wait. Okay, wait. You go first, and then I want to talk about my thing.
The one thing I was going to say actually has to do with men because an article, a statement just came out from Russia that Dalaloyan's going to be doing the all-around and team final, which I think is
I can't talk about.
This is like a terrible decision. Like I'm actually, because they're going to start on floor, and I'm terrified that Arthur's going to blow his Achilles, and then what's his face? Abliazin is going to end up having to do like pommel horse and high bar, and they're going to be like, they're going to miss out.
That seems
like that they're going to miss out on a medal because they're asking Dalaloyan to do all around.
Yeah. I know they're like, it's gold medal or bust. Like, I know that's the attitude and why they're doing it, and like a silver medal would be disappointing for them, but
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what they're doing is gold medal or bust. And I'm terrified that they're going to bust. And then, but I mean, like, then USA would
but
likely
just
get a medal. But
like US was pretty close to Great Britain in qualification, so not a
Yeah.
guarantee that the US would get fourth.
yeah, but didn't Great Britain go clean? And then Sam would give them 2 more points
Jessica's
on high bar.
done with this man conversation. She
Listen,
wants to show off
Jessica.
Mandy Mohammed's a picture of Mandy Mohammed's leotard that Jessica's like, leotards are over. This is the only one that counts.
I am so obsessed with this leotard, you guys. I cannot stop talking about it. I asked Mandy if I wanted to talk to Mandy anyway, but I always because I love talking to Mandy, but also because I want to know all about her leotard because I've never seen a leotard like that ever. It's from a Spanish company, which I couldn't hear the name of because it's also really loud in the mix zone. So I'll get the name of it for you, but I've just never seen a Leo like that. I mean, it's like the Egyptian bird situation on the front, and it's all different colors. It's black with like different colored sparkles, and it has the Egyptian eye on the back. And she said she wanted something that was like very Egyptian, but not like too over the top, so really elegant. And like the minute she walked out, I was like, that is beautiful. And then when it got closer, it reminded me of that Morgiboo light. I was about to say light tard leotard. Remember when she said, or Slava said she looked like a little light bulb when she had the all black Leo, but it was like so sparkly that it, anyway. It looked like that at first, but then I got up close. Like the colors, it just looks like almost like I've just never seen a Leo that looks so like up close. It looks like it is like a handcrafted, like native, like First Nations kind of design. And I've never seen that on a leotard before. I mean, and I'm not counting the culturally appropriated Australian kangaroo designs from with the didgeridoo situations.
Okay.
Like,
but what can we talk about what animal was on the Specialist Leo for the US? Because it definitely had whiskers and it had eyes placed and it did. And it had eyes placed in a very awkward place. And like I just like it looks like I was thinking lion, but then like the nose is so long, like giraffe. Do giraffes have whiskers?
that's a question we've never had that come up before on behind the scenes or otherwise on Gymcastic. But I think it was supposed to look like an Olympic flame. It was supposed to be like,
it has eyeballs and whiskers. Like John Chang posted
like the
a picture.
Olympic flame.
Like I just posted it on Twitter, and it definitely has whiskers, and it definitely has like little husks, and it has eyeballs.
Husks.
but
like
have you seen
corn
this?
husks?
It's hard.
It looks
Only
like it
we'll
has
talk
like
about
little
this.
tusks on it. No, Jessica, I just put it on Twitter. Like, can you pull? Or wait, I can pull it up. Like this is
okay. Let's see here. Oh yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
I do see it. Jessica's not showing the helpful leotard because we have to make fun of one now. It's cat-like. That's feline.
Like, can you see?
All
like,
right,
look at the eyeballs. Like those
You
are
said
eyeballs, and then there's whiskers. Like you see those whiskers, right?
I do.
And
Yeah.
then there's like little tusks, like here, there.
It's like
It's weird. I don't
like
know what it is.
lion cub that's
I
also
think-
a waterfall.
But like it also has like a nose. Like it looks like a giraffe.
No, you
like-
guys are tripping. First of all, it's clearly
No, it has eyeballs. It's not the flame, Jessica. It has eyeballs.
obviously
it
very
has-
clearly it is a what's those sea elephants? What are those called?
Wait,
Manatee?
are you talking about like a seal?
Yeah, but the ones that have the elephant nose.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
someone's saying a
an
dragon.
elephant seal. It's an elephant seal, obviously, you guys. Everybody knows that if you want to win the Olympics, you've got to wear an elephant seal leotard.
Okay,
Or
so
an elephant. But I see the eyes now and I can't see anything else. But anyway,
Yeah,
we
no, I'm
spent a
never going
long
to be able
time.
to see anything else.
We spent a long time on this. So other questions before
This is only the most important thing.
this is
that
the most important topic.
we could possibly be talking about. We have to.
giraffes
I mean,
do have
we have to
whiskers.
identify now what the animal in the leotard is, so then it could be 14 years later and you're still talking about the starfish boob leotard from like 2007 Worlds or something, where it was just like this one starfish
You guys,
stuck.
this
Oh,
is
yeah.
an elephant seal, and clearly you can see the resemblance. See, that's like a cute seal has a big elephant nose. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Any
can we
update
post this
on your?
Can we post this on
Update-
Twitter and have people guess?
We do need to name that leotard. What is the animal? And also Mandy Mohammed's. But any Cordelia says, any update on your Daki and Flavia's injuries? So your Daki said she's doing floor.
So they've both said that they intend to try to compete in the beam final. I mean, it's very early after their qualification performances and injuries. I assume a lot will depend on like how they feel when they wake up the next day, or like a medical evaluation or something. But I think they're both at this point leaving the door open or intending to compete in the beam final.
Oh, we did have a question here. Why was Pauline Schaefer referred to as Pauline Schaefer Betts? And I have to give Lauren credit for this. Lauren from the Gymternet, she said that is her name. That's always her name, is a hyphenated her dad and her mom's names together, but the FIG didn't have it. So now she's like going by her actual name because it wasn't on there before. So she didn't get married or anything, according to Lauren.
There were many questions that popped up that Coop should put back there because I didn't read them.
Yeah.
Someone's asking Spencer how he got through the night. Did you caffeinate or what?
Yes, I did caffeinate, but mostly on spite. It's really good for energy.
The Buttons Up, hi! One of our favorites here, who also was at our meetup at Trials. The questions are: will Jade upgrade in floor finals? I say
Upgrade
yes.
floor for finals. I would like her to. I don't think it's smart to do so because I think she can medal with her current composition, and the triple double layout is too risky. So I don't think she should, but also I really want her to.
Will Simone do her Yurchenko double pike?
This is going to be interesting. Will there be pressure on Simone now to try to do it for the team final now that the US qualified a point behind Russia? And they're like, oh, we need some more tenths. I feel like it might put her over the edge for trying it in the team final.
So Jason, double Buttons Up says, does she need it to win vault?
I mean, she qualified in first place to the vault final without it today, so she does not need it to win vault because she can do her vaults that she did today. Also, she qualified in first place and she can do those vaults quite a bit better than she did today. So I don't think she needs it, but and she doesn't have a touch warm up. Will Suni force a connection even if she is off in finals?
No, she won't.
But I think she needs it to win gold.
She does, but she can win a medal.
Yeah, but she can win silver without it.
And she's going to win with the team anyway. If we don't lose to Russia, we'll apparently have much more depth than the United States. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that again, you guys. Oh,
would you take care of the tuber country rule? If you were making the rules, would you make some allowance for if you were top 6 in the all around, no matter what, you make it, or top 3 for event finals, you make it no matter what?
I would not. Because everyone loves to crap on the two per country rule, but go through and look at the people you would be upset about not making the event final if the two per country rule weren't in place. Because there were a lot of Chinese gymnasts on beam, a lot of Russian gymnasts on bars that got two per countryed, and if they weren't, there would be some Gymternet favorites who did not make finals. So.
Are the judges Bella wants to know, are the judges the same for all the WAG competitions in Tokyo?
That's the same people, but don't they alternate assignments?
I think they do alternate assignments, right? That's what I thought.
I believe they alternate. Yeah, it's the same. They don't bring in new people. It's the same crop, but they get different. They try to change it up, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Question: should Elena Davidova be allowed to be an event FIG I think she's the supervisor of vault, even though one of the athletes from her gym is a competitor here.
No, she should not.
Ooh.
Because that's
Hands
a
down.
thing.
No. Nope.
Because Ava Stewart is at Gemini,
Yeah.
which is her gym.
Yeah, no, she shouldn't be. She shouldn't be allowed. Yeah, she can do a lot of other stuff, but not that. Sorator says, is there a deduction for shuffling your hands around the bars? Yes, there is a deduction for that. There's an adjustment deduction. So like when D'Amatos like walk down the bars, that's not how they do it at all. How I'm doing my hands. That's how a baby says goodbye. But
it was about right.
That there is a deduction for that.
I thought that you were allowed to move though if you were about to do like a long pirouetting skill across the bar. Like if you do a Van Leeuwen up to high bar and then like you catch in the middle and then if you shuffle down because you're about to pirouette over, I thought that was allowed. Is that not?
I feel like you're allowed to take one step, but not like three, like not like walk your hands 5 times. Kathy says, yes, judges get a redraw for each competition, different for all around team finals and even event finals. Yes, we knew a thing about gymnastics, you guys. Confirmed. All
Shelby
right.
asks if we think Simone will drop out of bars finals for various possible reasons.
No.
I don't imagine she would.
What various possible reasons would she do that for?
Because I was joking about how she hates bars and just what happened would have been
like,
fine if she didn't make the bars final.
Kathy says, to further clarify, D judges will remain the same. E judges change. That makes sense, I think. If you're a really badass D judge. Is Andrade's Chang better than Jade and Simone's?
It's definitely better than Jade's. Better.
It was better than Simone's today. Simone's can be better, but I would say what Andrade showed today is stronger than like some of Simone's like, I did it, but I bounced back a lot. Chung's. Andrade's is very good.
Andrade is amazing. I mean, Simone was super off today. I mean, she almost did a old school Skinner and missed her hand on the vault.
Yeah, on her block, she was super crooked on the table. Like, I think Uncle Tim's theory is right, that if you don't hit the board directly on it, shoots you crooked.
Yep. There's a lot of falling off mats today. It wasn't just Simone that almost fell off the mat. I mean, the men did tons of falling off the mat, but even the women had some of that. What was that question for Spencer?
My team final lineups for the US. Okay. Vault, you're using McCallum, Childs, Biles. Bars, I think it's the tough one. But if Jordan Childs is continuing to hit in training, then I'm putting her with Simone and Suni. Beam, I would consider putting McCallum in with Simone and Suni for team final. And then floor would be McCallum, Childs, and Biles.
We have a good question from Life of Pi who says, is there an update on Kara and Leanne? Are USAG offering athletes telehealth sessions, sports psych, and they're in quarantine alone? Someone thought of sending them things, puzzles, exercise bikes, card making crafts for Kara. Oh, there is a whole staff of people whose job it is to take care of them. So hopefully they are doing the taking care of. I don't know the answer to those questions. I know that like the USOPC offers that stuff, but if someone told her like, had them checked in on, I don't know. One of the things that also I don't think a lot of people are aware of, because you think of people's mental health obviously when you're stuck in a room, but the other thing is athletes can suffer from a life-threatening syndrome if elite athletes go from being an elite to suddenly not exercising. It's almost like their body starts to attack itself. This happened to elbow injury 1992, didn't originally make the team, Michelle Campy. When she had it wasn't her elbow injury, it was when she fractured her back on a dismount on bars. She had this happen because she went from being an elite to being immobile with a back fracture. And she just kept throwing up and having fevers, like having a horrible flu. but it was this rare condition that happens to elite athletes if they suddenly can't work out. And I know Leanne posted a picture of herself doing a handstand, but hopefully, like, I mean, they have good medical staff. Like, hopefully, they're taking care of that stuff. But yeah, those are good questions. Oh my god, it would be so cool if someone dropped off a card making care package.
Someone from the forum asked, can Skinner stay in Tokyo? Surely she will be allowed to on the slim, I don't know what that means, but certainly possible, slim but possible chance that there's an injury to Jade or Simone. She would be next in line if that were to happen. But if not, like, is she being forced out of the country? I don't think she is.
No.
She's the first reserve on vault. So I think that that's licensed enough to stay.
Yeah, I think you stay. If you're the first reserve for any event, you stay all the way till the warm-ups for that event are done. So yeah, she'll be here working out. All right. Any final statements about things before we call it a night? Because everything
has gotten so much more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I am delighted by the circumstances of today.
I love this beat so much. It was the best. I loved it. Was there was drama? You didn't know who was going to win.
If I hadn't gotten injured, it would have been the best.
Yes, except for that, obviously. But there's so few injuries, you guys. Even with the men, like there's been what, like 3 injuries this entire competition. It's amazing. There's so few injuries. It's been so great. So that sucked, but like this was so exciting. I didn't know what was going to happen. There were upsets or surprises. It was a great meet. It was so fun. It was so fun. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Okay, if we'll see you guys again tomorrow after men's team. Is that what's tomorrow?
Finals, yes.
And again, same schedule. About an hour after the meet ends, we'll be here live again. If you have any questions, of course, put them up in the forum, gymcast.com, in the forum under the VIP section. And if you haven't tried out if you're not a beta tester yet for our for the behind the scenes, you can listen to it on your favorite podcast player. You can go to the VIP section of the forum and see the instructions for that. And our wonderful fact checker, can we just call him Coop? Should we just call him Coop instead of our fact checker, like he's anonymous? Coop just reminded me that we have to have time for the award ceremony, which is true. So it's probably going to be longer than an hour. Should we say an hour and a half after the competition? Yeah, I think that's more realistic, because what if there's a B or something, you guys, and I have to watch the whole medal ceremony and then they're going to do their media stuff. So probably an hour and a half tomorrow night. Okay, guys, until tomorrow, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for your great questions. And we'll see you tomorrow right back here. And until then, remember to take off on gay and split on rights. See you tomorrow.